I improved every player on this Blazers roster, and today I'm going to tell you how I did it. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. Today we're going to be taking the Blazers roster and breaking down every player and one ability that I think they can all improve on. For some players it might be ball handling, for others defense, for others just general shooting, but I'm going to break that down for each player on the Blazers roster and tell you why I think that would help improve their season this upcoming year. Before we get into the video, please don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy this content and want more of it. Don't forget to subscribe. Maybe you've seen my videos a couple times before but just haven't hit that subscribe button, but it would really mean a lot if you would do so. But with that out of the way, let's just get right into the video. Now before the video starts, I'm not going to be talking about any of the two-ways players, so guys like Justin Minaya, I'm not going to be talking about. Another rule I have is that health is not a skill. So for Robert Williams, as much as I'd want to say that as long as he's healthy, that would be an improved season, which it would be. It's not a skill, so I'm not going to be mentioning that in this video. I'm going to try my best not to just mention shooting or overall shooting numbers for everyone, because of course, almost every player on this Blazers team, I would love to see their shooting numbers go up. So I'm going to try to avoid that for most people. And also, I'm assuming that no trades are made at the time of this recording. Jerami Grant, Anfernee Simon, Matisse Thybulle, Robert Williams, they're also on the roster, so I'm going to be talking about them here today. And then finally, I'm not going to be talking about Devontae Graham. Even though his contract was recently just signed to be guaranteed, I still think there's a good chance he's not going to be on the roster on opening night, and I didn't watch enough of him last year, so I'm not going to be talking about him in this video. But after that lengthy intro segment, let's just get right into the video. So the first player we're going to be talking about today is Rayan Rupert. Rayan Rupert had an underwhelming rookie season, but it didn't come as a surprise to many Blazer fans, as when he was drafted, he seemed to be sort of a late second round project guy that the Blazers would be able to take some time with, give him a lot of minutes in the G League, which they did, and hopefully just develop him over the next couple of seasons. But I still think you would have hoped to see a little bit more from Rayan Rupert than we did this last year. He turned over the ball a lot, didn't shoot the best, but the one skill I would love to see him improve on the most is his overall ball handling. I think it would really improve his game on a night-to-night basis when he's seen minutes if he can handle the ball a bit better and just overall take control of it. He turned over the ball a lot last year and made a lot of sloppy passes that he could have easily prevented if he was just a little more careful and took a little more time to handle the ball better. And so if he can improve on that, turn over the ball less, make smarter passes, then I think that would really help his game in the sophomore season. The next player we're going to be talking about is none other than Kris Murray. Kris Murray is kind of a controversial topic amongst Blazer fans, as he was drafted 23rd overall and came in as a guy who it seemed like if he was going to do one thing well, that was going to be shooting, right? He shot well when he was in Iowa, and so if he was able to come on to this Blazers roster, and even if he didn't play defense, even if he wasn't good at passing or rebounding or doing anything else, at least we knew he'd be able to shoot the ball, right? Well, unfortunately, that could not be more wrong, as last year he only shot 26% from the three-point line, which is horrendous and way under the league average. So it'd be nice to see him get those shooting numbers up on both ends of the floor, not just from the three-point line, but even from the paint. His shooting wasn't too great there either this year, and so if he can get his overall shooting numbers up and at least hopefully get into that mid-30 range with a few more shots every game, then that would be really nice to see. I think the biggest thing for Kris Murray, unfortunately, is just his confidence. I think even in Summer League, you saw that he just wasn't super confident shooting the ball, and so anytime he got it, you could tell that he was just thinking about hoping not to miss. I mean, of course, everyone's going to hope not to miss, right? But you can just tell he knows he's supposed to be good at shooting, and his confidence is just at such an all-time low. And so if he can gain some of that confidence back and, again, hopefully bring those shooting numbers up, then I think that would be a huge success for him in his sophomore year. The next guy we're going to be talking about might not even be on the roster at the start of the season, and that is Dalano Banton. Dalano Banton was kind of a fun piece that the Blazers traded for essentially nothing, as they traded a top 55 protected second round pick to the Boston Celtics for him at the trade deadline this last year. And Dalano Banton came in and surprisingly played well for the Blazers. He shot well, he scored a lot of points, but he took so many shots that I think anyone who had that sort of role, and he definitely had a unique role on this Blazers team during the rest of the season from when he got here, and I don't think he would have that sort of role on this team in the coming season. But if Dalano Banton is still on the roster in the fall, then I would love to see him shoot less and create more. He took a lot of shots every game, and that's how he averaged nearly 15 points a game for the Blazers since they traded for him. But he didn't pass too much, and so I'd love to see him focus more on creating for others and kind of being a complementary piece, as opposed to feeling like he needs to take all the shots in the world to prove himself, as I think he definitely showed that he can do just that, right? He can shoot the ball, he can score if he needs to. It might take him a bunch of shots, he might miss 15 threes in a row like he did at the last game of the season, but he showed that he can at least get those numbers even if it's on 20 plus shots a game. And so if he can just focus a bit more on creating more for others, rebounding the ball, passing, and just being more of a glue guy, then I think that would help benefit him and could secure him a long-term roster spot on this team. Next up, we have Duop Reath, kind of the fun story of the Blazers roster this last year, where he came in on a two-way and instantly showed that he was too good for that, earning himself a 3-year contract with the Blazers. Duop Reath shot the ball well from the three-point line and played mostly backup center minutes as Robert Williams was out most of the season. Like I said before, he shot the ball well, and that helped space the floor anytime he was playing alongside some of the other guys. And so if he can keep doing that, then I think that would be amazing for him this year. But the one skill I want to see him improve on the most is his overall defense. There's just too many times where he seemed lost on defense, didn't know what he was doing, turned over the ball or what have you. And so if he can up his overall defense and be more of a problem on that side of the ball, then I think that would help his game a lot and really secure him as a long-term piece on just some NBA team for the future. The next player we're going to talk about is Jabari Walker. And of course, Jabari Walker is someone that initially I wanted to talk about shooting, but as I said at the start of the video, I don't want to just say overall shooting numbers for everyone. Jabari Walker showed flashes of being able to shoot the three-point ball, and even in some off-season videos, it seems like he is working on those shooting numbers, so I'm just hopefully expecting those to be a little bit better. But the one skill I would love to see him improve on the most is his passing. Jabari Walker only averaged 1 assist last year, and he only averaged 0.6 his rookie year. So if he can develop that and add that into his NBA game, then I think that would be a huge benefit, as even in his rookie season, Jabari Walker was someone that you could tell he had rebounding, and he knew how to rebound the ball great, and he knew how to rebound at an NBA level, and that was his one true NBA level talent. And so if he's able to develop another NBA level talent, then I think once you have 2 or 3 of those under your belt, that's where you are going to be a true beneficial role player in the league for years and years to come. Right now, rebounding still seems to be his one kind of shining bright spot in his game. So if he can develop passing and shoot the ball a bit better, then I could definitely see Jabari Walker being a role player for a long time. The next player we have is another guy that I don't think is going to be on the team long term, might not even be here in the next month, but that is Matisse Thybulle. Matisse Thybulle got traded to the Blazers last trade deadline from the Philadelphia 76ers, and during the last half of the season last year, he shot the ball amazing. The hope would be that this last season he would have been able to shoot the ball a bit better and more consistently, and so that's my one skill I would love to see Matisse Thybulle get better at, and that is just become a more consistent shooter. Matisse Thybulle has shown those flashes of being able to shoot the ball well, shoot the ball from the three-point line, and just be more of a scorer as opposed to just an on-ball defender. So if he's able to become a more consistent shooter, maybe shoot league average both from the field and from the three-point line, then I would consider that a huge win and would be a very beneficial skill for him to develop this year. The next guy I'm going to be talking about is Robert Williams, and he's another guy that I don't know if he's going to be here in the next month, but if he is, and if he's on the Blazers roster and wearing a Rip City jersey, I would love to see more consistency from him. I know at the start of the video I said that health is not a skill, but even when he was on the floor, it seemed like he was a bit inconsistent with how he'd play. He'd have some great defensive games and other games that just weren't so great, and so if he's able to come in and just be a bit more consistent on that side, hopefully consistently be in a Blazers jersey to begin with and play more games, then I think that would obviously be a huge benefit for Robert Williams. He can up his trade value if he's not traded before the fall, and so overall if he's just able to come in and kind of be just one of those consistent guys that you know what you're getting on a night-to-night basis, then I think that would be a huge benefit for him. Now we start getting into the fun players, the guys that you're going to see play every single night and kind of your core rotation going into the season, and we're going to start it off with none other than Toumani Camara. Toumani Camara was such a star this last year in the sense of he was drafted late in the second round, but he was a guy that seemingly was a throw-in piece in the Damian Lillard trade where the Blazers got back DeAndre Ayton and Toumani Camara from the Suns. And Toumani Camara instantly showed that he was going to be a prime piece to this team moving forward, as he had an amazing summer league for the Suns, and I think that's why Joe Cronin was so adamant about receiving him back in the deal. And then he earned himself the starting small forward spot in only 10 games in his rookie year. Now I've made a whole video all about Toumani Camara and my thoughts about him, so I'll make sure to link that in the description below if you want to go check that out. But the one skill that I would love to see Toumani Camara improve on is just turning over the ball less and handling the ball better. He made a lot of sloppy passes this last year, turned over the ball a lot, and just kind of got lost sometimes when he was in charge of handling the ball. And so I'd love to see him just slow the game down a bit, be a bit more careful, and just overall handle the ball better. I think that would benefit his game a lot. And if he just continues to work on his shooting and continues to be the defensive problem that we've seen him to be, then I think that would be a huge benefit for him. The next guy we're going to be talking about is the rookie that the Blazers just drafted, who we haven't seen play a single minute in a Blazers jersey, but that is Donovan Clingan. Donovan Clingan is someone who we know going into the year we can expect him to be an elite problem on defense and as a rim protector, but the one trait I would love to see him develop and work on this year is shooting the three-point ball. As it seems like in every interview, every press conference, anytime he's asked about his game in any way, he always mentions how he can shoot the three-point ball. Even Joe Cronin and some of the guys on the front office have mentioned how he's an elite three-point shooter. And so now that they've sort of built up this idea that he can shoot the ball well, then I would really love to see him put that into action in his rookie season and maybe average at least 2 or 3 three-point attempts per game. I know that might be a lot to ask for, but if by the end of the season he shot at least 150 three-point shots and is averaging right around league average, then I would consider that a huge win for him. Even if he's not averaging high numbers, I would love just to see him be confident, take those shots, and again, be confident in shooting the ball. The next guy we're going to be talking about is Jerami Grant, and if you watched at least half a game of Jerami Grant and you know how tall he is, then you know what I'm about to mention right now, and the one skill I'd love to see him develop most is his rebounding. He has only averaged 4 rebounds per game in his whole career, and he only averaged 3.5 this last season for the Trailblazers. Someone that's his height and someone that plays the power forward position like he does, it would be amazing to see him develop and be more aggressive on rebounding the ball and just see him put in more effort on that side, as it seems like there's a lot of times he either assumes that someone like Deandre Ayton or the center he's playing with will do it. But if Jerami Grant can be that second line of defense where if the center is out of rotation or just can't grab the rebound, seeing Jerami Grant be aggressive on that end and see him up those numbers to at least 5 or 6 rebounds per game would be a huge win, and I think would really help his trade value overall. The next player we're going to be talking about is none other than Deandre Ayton. Deandre Ayton can be a controversial topic and player amongst Blazer fans, as he came in last year from the Damian Lillard trade, as I mentioned before, but had kind of a rough start to the season, wasn't really playing well, and it seemed like there was a lot of question marks around his overall effort and care for the game of basketball. However, he seemed to turn that around about halfway through the season, and so my one thing that I would love to see him do better this year is just consistent effort. It seems like whenever he's trying and really caring about playing and trying to play well, he can be a true problem on the floor, but if he just doesn't care and is kind of lazy, then he's going to be one of the worst centers in the league. And so if he can just give that consistent effort on a night-to-night basis and maybe add a few more three-point shots into his game, then I think that would be a huge benefit to Ayton and could really up his trade value if the Blazers want to move off of him in the coming seasons. Now the next player we're going to be talking about is another guy that we haven't actually seen play in a Blazers jersey, and that is none other than Deni Avdija. If you haven't seen the last video I made all about Deni Avdija, I'll make sure to link that in the description box below. But the one skill I would love to see from him is more consistent defensive effort, as over his time in the NBA the last 4 years, he has gotten slightly worse each season on the defensive side of the ball, yet he has showed those flashes of being able to guard guys like James Harden and Kevin Durant even. And so if he can just play consistent defense and give constant effort on that end, I think that would be a huge benefit to his game and really help this Blazers roster as a whole. The next guy we're talking about is Anfernee Simon. Anfernee Simon is one of the best players on the Blazer, and I probably wouldn't argue with you if you want to say he's the best player on this roster, but overall the one thing I would love to see from Anfernee Simon improve this year is his defense. Anfernee Simon has talked for years about how he wants to prove the narrative wrong and wants to prove to people that he can actually play defense, yet time and time again at the end of the season you look at the ratings and he's one of the worst, if not the worst in some years, defender in the league. He's just overall one of the worst defenders, and so if he's able just to give a bit more effort and even just be a slightly below average defender, then I think that would be a huge benefit to his game and would benefit this Blazers roster immensely. The next player we're going to talk about is Shaedon Sharpe. Now it feels like we haven't seen Shaedon Sharpe play basketball in what feels like multiple years. However, the one thing I would love to see him improve on when he comes back on the court this fall is his ball handling and passing. We've seen that he has the ability to slash and to cut and be able to score the ball, as well as use his athleticism to get to the rim whenever he wants. But the one thing I would love to see improve for his game is his overall overall ball handling and ability to pass and create for others. Especially in his rookie season, he didn't seem like he had a good feel for the NBA speed and being able to handle the ball well, but he has quickly got better over the last season. So if he can just keep getting better at that and just keep working on that skill set, then I think that would help benefit his game a lot and could really be what turns him from just a good player into an all-star. Now the final player we're going to be talking about is none other than Scoot Henderson. And the skill set that I would love to see him work on this season, and the biggest thing I'm going to be watching out for, is his overall finishing at the rim. That's the one skill that coming into his rookie season it seemed like Scoot would be really good at, right? Being able to blow by defenders and get to the rim and score whenever he wants, but that actually seemed to be one of his biggest weaknesses. Towards the end of the season, his 3-point percentage got a lot better, and so if he can still average around that 34 to 36% for the whole season this year, then I think that would be a huge win for him. But the biggest thing I want to see him improve on is his overall finishing at the rim and scoring from inside the paint. And so if he can up his true shooting percentage into the 50s this year, then I think that would overall be a huge win for Scoot Henderson and would just be a clear sign that he is developing into the player that we all think he can be. Comment below and let me know the one thing you want to see your favorite Blazer improve on. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you're still here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, we're so close to 1,000 subscribers, and so it would really mean a lot if you would do so. But with that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and until next time, I'll see you later.